In this video, I am going to discuss about the common figures of speech that we use in our day-to-day English. So we are going to start with personification. Now, in personification, some non-living object or inanimate object is given human qualities. So I can say so it can be a very bright morning and the sun rays, because they are looking very bright and they are warm, so we can call it that the sun is smiling. We all know that smiling is a human quality and we are associating it with an inanimate object, a non-living thing, and that is why this line is an example of personification. Another one, in this example, we see that the house, the empty house, is personified, as it is said that the house is crying. Now, crying is something that we normally associate with human beings. So, house cannot cry for its residents. It's just another example of personification in which the poet is imagining that the house is upset because of the absence of its residents. One more example, this time I am giving it from a poem. Here the moon has been personified because walking is something that we usually associate with human beings. So if the moon is walking over the sky, that is simply representing the motions of the moon in the sky, and this motion has been compared to a walk. And it is imagined that the moon is wearing silver colored shoes because of the bright white light of the moon. So this is also an example of personification. So if personification is clear, then we are moving on to the next figure of speech, that is simile. Simile and the next one, metaphor, that we are going to do are very confusing for the students who are learning them for the first time. If you start identifying their basic difference, then it will no longer be difficult. So I am keeping simile and metaphor side by side. So what does simile do? Simile is a comparison. Metaphor is also a comparison. Secondly, simile is a comparison between two different objects. Or entities. Metaphor also does the same thing. It is a comparison between two different objects or entities. So what is the difference between simile and metaphor? How will you differentiate between them? In simile, you will have words like as, such, like, so. These words are specifically used in order to show the difference. So let me take this example. See, the poet is comparing your face with a red rose, two completely different objects. The poet is not meaning that the face of the person is red in color or it has petals like the rose. Of course not. The poet is trying to mean that just like a rose is very beautiful to look at, it is very attractive. Similarly, the face of this person is also very beautiful to look at and attractive. But here, the poet has specifically used the word like. So that is why by seeing this word like, the comparison becomes easier for us to understand, and therefore it is called a simile. Another example, now he is a person and lion is an animal, but it seems that this person has fought as aggressively, as courageously as a lion fights. And this comparison between the strength and the aggressiveness of this person with the lion is made clear with the help of a word as. So, as is telling us that this is a simile. Now, if this same line is written as a metaphor, then we should remove the like or as. So, just try to represent this same line as a metaphor. It will become, you have a rosy face. See, I have not used like, such, so, as, nothing, but still I have compared. The meaning of these two sentences are absolutely the same. Your face is like a red rose and you have a rosy face means the same thing. But the difference is that in the second sentence, the comparison is more difficult to find out. It is an implied comparison, not clearly stated. If I had used words like as, such, so, then the comparison would have been much more clearer and easier for us to understand. But because we have not used any such comparative words, that is why this sentence becomes a little bit difficult for us to understand. But the meaning is exactly same. You have a face which is like a rose, beautiful like a rose. So you have a rosy face where the comparison is implied but not clearly stated is an example of metaphor. Another one will be this sentence. Now let us try to change it into a metaphor. He fought with lion's strength. So here the meaning is same. He fought as a lion means just like a lion fights with a lot of strength and courage, and he fought with the lion's strength also means the same thing. The difference is that I have not used the words like, as, or like. In this case also the comparison is implied. So as a reader we will have to stop for a moment and think, okay, the poet is trying to compare the strength of this person with the strength of a lion. So he fought with a lion's strength is an example of metaphor. So I hope metaphor and simile are clear, because most of the students are getting confused between these two figures of speech. So simile is very easy to understand, because you will have words like these, as or such or like or so. But in metaphor you won't have these kind of words. Now the fourth one is also very easy to understand. This is called alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of one sound again and again in a sentence. So see how many times the s sound is repeated. She sells sea shells in the seashore. So when in consecutive words, consecutive means one after another, when in words in a line one after another, one sound is repeated. I am not telling one alphabet is repeated. One sound is repeated, that is called alliteration. So this is one of the most classic examples of alliteration, where you have a lot of repetition. But sometimes alliteration can be only in 2 words, sometimes it can be in 3 words. See, LL is repeated. Here there are 3 words where we are getting repetition of the H sound. So happy holiday home. This is alliteration, repetition of the sounds one after another. The next one, which is not very common in your case, but still I am doing it because you can encounter this type of questions also. So the next one is onomatopoeia. Now, onomatopoeia is another figure of speech in which you are required to hear the sound. Like alliteration, in onomatopoeia also, things are dependent on the sound, not on the words. So, for example, there is a word like bang. She opened the door with a bang. This bang is an example of onomatopoeia. Or sometimes I can say she closed the door with a thud. That is onomatopoeia. Then we can say that the nightingale or the koel cooed. This is also an onomatopoeia. So when any sound is represented, hissing of the snake, when a sound is represented through a word, that is called onomatopoeia. So this is very simple. Just understand that it should be basically a sound represented as a word. The next one is oxymoron. Oxymoron means two opposite, completely opposite meaning words are kept side by side. So you see, grimly means sad, gay means happy. So grimly gay face, that means a face which is at once sad and happy. Now in normal situation, a person cannot be happy and sad at the same time. But in poetic instances, there in literature, there can be occasions when one character is happy and sad at the same time. So you can imagine that maybe a soldier who is very badly injured in the battle, maybe he has lost his leg or his hand, but he is coming back home alive from the war. His feeling will be grimly gay. That means he will be happy also because he is returning to his family, and sad also because he has not remained the same person, he has lost a hand or a leg. So that kind of feeling, mixture of happiness and sadness, is a grimly gay face. Opposite meaning words kept side by side. Again, when it is dark, then it is invisible. But when it is visible, then it is not dark. But then the poet is using the expression darkness visible. This means that although it is dark, but still in the darkness, if your eyes are adjusted after some time, then you are able to tell what is present there. So slight visibility comes even in darkness. So that is darkness visible. So this kind of instances where you have two opposite meaning words kept side by side, that is called oxymoron. The last one that I am going to do is pathetic fallacy. Now, pathetic fallacy is that figure of speech in which nature expresses its sadness on the situation of man. So, if I say, so seeing the hero in pain, the sky wept. Weeping or crying is something only human beings can do. So, in one sense, this is personification also. But here you will have to understand that the sky is actually expressing its sympathy at the condition of the hero, at the pain of the hero. So, what is basically the weeping of the sky? Nothing but rain. So, it started raining when the hero was sad, and our poet is imagining that the sky started weeping at the condition of the hero. So, this is the example of pathetic fallacy.